But before starting off with array.map, do you know that array.map is nothing just a sugar coated for loop? Dear friends, my name is Samir. In today's video, we are going to learn yet another built-in method in JavaScript, which is array.map. And this method is very useful if you want to modify or mutate the values in the array, but it will not mutate the values in place, meaning that your original data will remain intact and you will play with these value and you can store it in another variable. If you know that, very good. So let us start coding. But before that, I'll read out some pointers over here to have in mind while coding. Array.map, it modifies in the new array and it returns a new array. It requires a callback function, and pro tips I'll give you along the way. You can see over here I have names array over here. Every element inside the array is an object which has two key values. First key is first name and last name. Likewise, we have four names over here. What I have thought is to create a full name from this first and last name by merging these two values. You can use array.map to do this. This is a very simple use case, and just for the sake of tutorial I'm making it very simple. I'll create a variable called as full name, and it will be names.map. And coming back to our pointer, the second last pointer, it requires a callback function. So this map will do nothing if we are not passing the callback function, and our callback function will have all the modification logic over here. Got it? This is the syntax of a callback function or any function. So we'll pass in item, and along with item we can pass the index and the array. So this is the three arguments which you can pass. As of now, for explaining this example, I don't require this index and array. So array is basically the whole array. You can get access of that whole array, and index is if we are running a for loop and we are on the first index, so it will be the index 0, then on second index, third index. So likewise we have the access of the index and we will know that we are currently on which iteration. So index is that kind of identifier for us. Now let me delete this two parameters as it is not required for this example. Just to show you that if you are returning anything in this array.map, it will be stored in the array and this array will be assigned to full name. So this whole block will be our array, and our callback function will be the decider, like what is going to be stored inside the array. And if I return it over here, return Samir, just a string of Samir, so it will store Samir for 4 times because our array length is 4. So that is the reason why it will store. And let me clear this console.log. Now we'll get full name over here. Yes, node index.js. Like I said, it is printing Samir. Now we'll do our main logic, right? We'll merge this first and last name or concat it to get the actual value full name. So we'll get item, so we'll just simply call it return item dot first name plus item, and we'll add some space character plus item dot last name. Here it is again, console.log full name. Save it and run this file. Now we can see that our full name array is ready. Okay, and if you want to give us some other identifier, you can do this way also. So now we can see that this is our logic. Say for example, try it yourself as well and you will be loving this array.map. And in the real world there are lots and lots of for loops in a single file, and the file contains around 10,000, 2,000, like 2,000 lines of code is very normal. Bare minimum it will have 4 or 5 for loops, and reading those for loops, like it will strain your eyes and it is not readable, not manageable at all, because the variable names named in that for loop are like I and j, so you cannot manage that kind of code. So that is why these array.map are more concise and these are more readable. So that is why we are preferring array.map over for loop. So I think that was the primary use case why it was built by the JavaScript team and why we are using it. Another thing that we have, let's come back to our code. We have now successfully merged, concatenated our value. Say for example, if we are going to another, in the case that we are not returning anything, let me say false. If false, return empty string. Okay, but it will not even return the empty string because it will not go inside this block, as I have given the false value over here. So what do we expect our full name array will have? It will have undefined value. Like for each iteration, it will, if we return nothing, it will store undefined. Okay, let us see in the console. I am running this file. See, if we are returning nothing, it will store undefined. So be mindful while you are coding, you have to return a valid value over here for each iteration. Okay, and if let's say you have written some conditional logic, and that you have written some if else or if, and your element is not satisfying that if block, then your array will have undefined values. And I think that was a pro tip from me. This is pretty much everything, like little bit about array.map, and if you use it on daily basis, you will develop a habit of writing this code. And that's it from my side, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for your time. Have a lovely day, and if you like my content, please do subscribe to my channel and like this video. Thank you so much.